What's up, guys? Jimmy here with another Lots of Games video. I'm super thrilled. Today I'm going to be going over with you guys in my PS4 game collection update video. It's been a while since I last did a video talking about my PS4 game collection, and super thrilled. Let you guys know also, any of you guys that are interested in getting $10 in free Bitcoin, if you guys sign up with a free account with Coinbase, and if you within 180 days of starting up a Coinbase account, it's a free app. If you purchase within that 180 days at least $100 worth of Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, or any of the other digital cryptocurrencies available on Coinbase, if you buy at least $100, you'll be getting $10 free in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is digital currency that can be used all around the world. Companies like Newegg, PlayAsia, the Microsoft Store. You could buy PS4 games. You could buy Nintendo Switch games at Newegg.com. Like, say like, oh, you know, let's check this out. This is not financial advice, but if you guys are interested, if you use my referral link in the video description below, you'll get $10 in free Bitcoin, and I'll get $10 in free Bitcoin as well. So just a quick thing. It helps out the channel a whole lot. So let's go ahead and get started with my PS4 collection. First off, we have Horizon Zero Dawn. Of course, this is a very popular, wildly successful, sold very well, and also the reviewers absolutely love this one. Scored very well. It has a very high Metacritic score. Horizon Zero Dawn, of course, is a PS4 exclusive. Okay, next up, we've got Horizon Chase Turbo. Great racing game to play after checking out Horizon Zero Dawn. This has an old school racing feel to it. It's not that old, but it is so much fun. Of course, you can play this game online, but this game also has couch co-op where you could have up to 4 players. Really cool. Next up, we have an RPG that sold very well, and that is Final Fantasy 15. This is a epic RPG. You can actually pick up on the cheap now and to experience everything in this game, not even including any of the DLC, but just to play the game and check out all the side missions. You're going to spend dozens and dozens of hours. I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 15. I also have it on my PC. A great RPG. Next up, we have Fate Extella, the Umbral Star. And if you're a fan of games that have hordes of enemies coming at you, hundreds and thousands of enemies just going for you, this game has a whole lot of action. It's super fast paced. Lots of loot that'll be dropped that you'll be getting. Tons of power-ups, tons of special moves, and it's got actually a lengthy, there's a bunch of story to it as well. It's just not tons of action. There's actually, little respites or breaks from the crazy action and the hundreds and thousands of enemies coming at you. A great little game you can pick up on the cheap. Next up is a game that I talked about not too long ago, and that is Knack 2. Now, of course, Knack 2 is another PS4 exclusive, and of course, with Knack 1 sold pretty good because when the PS4 launched, Knack was one of those launch titles. Knack 2, I think a lot of people overlooked, unfortunately. It's a really solid adventure game I think you guys could check out. Knack 2, you should be able to pick it up at a lot of places for less than 20 bucks. Okay, next up we have Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator, and this is a gorgeous fighting game. Super fun. Whether you want to play this game with a friend on the couch or play it online, it's got some great, really gorgeous cinematics, a rocking soundtrack, tons of different characters to play with. If you're a fan of 2D fighters, definitely check this one out. Okay, so next up is a game that was released in limited quantities from Strictly Limited, and that is 99 Vidas. This is a brawler. It is a beat 'em up. If you're a fan back in the day of games like Double Dragon and Final Fight, definitely check this one out. This one you can play with online up to 2 to 4 players. Just a fighting beat 'em up that doesn't take itself that seriously. Of course, a lot of beat-em-ups sometimes don't take themselves too seriously, but I think you guys should definitely check this one out. I believe on the PlayStation Network, you can pick it up for around 10 to 15 bucks. But this one was sold out pretty quick on Strictly Limited. I think they only made around 1,500 to 2,500 copies. But yeah, great title. Next up, The Evil Within 2, this game is super freaky, super crazy, super dark. It's another one of those games that I think got overlooked. Not to say that it was a bomb, but I think it really didn't do as well as it could have. If you're a fan of some of the great survival horror games, I think you guys will really enjoy The Evil Within 2. Okay, next up we have one of the best games on the PS4, and that is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Going back to with the Final Fantasy 15, where if you played through Final Fantasy 15 from beginning to end and the different side missions, you'd have a whole lot of game, a whole lot of time on your hands. The Witcher 3 is no different. The Witcher 3, you're going to be spending dozens and dozens of hours on that title. So much to do, so many people to talk to, hours and hours of dialogue, and epic RPGs. If you're into RPGs and you have a PS4, The Witcher 3 is definitely a no-brainer. Okay, next up we have Inside and Limbo, which is 2 games in one. These are different games that have definitely kind of a basic look to it. Inside takes place where you're in this really dark place. You're all alone. You're just trying to figure out exactly what's going on. Limbo, kind of similar, where like the character's like, what's exactly going on? There's a whole lot of darkness. And both games scored actually very, very well. Inside and Limbo both have some of the highest Metacritic scores on PS4. So take that for what it's worth. Next up, we have a Natural Doctrine. Natural Doctrine has kind of an older look to it. It kind of maybe even looks like a PS3 game, but it is a game published by NIS America. I need to spend more time on this game, where you've got your team, you've got the characters you're with, and you go out on these adventures, just doing your best to survive and live. I need to spend more time with Natural Doctrine. Let me know in the comment section below if you played this one, what your thoughts on it are. Next up is Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. And of course, there are so many different Assassin's Creed, but honestly, guys, Black Flag is one of the best, one of my favorite, in my opinion. It's super fun, a whole lot to do. Some of the areas, of course, this game came out, I'm not sure if it was a launch title on the PS4. It was definitely in that launch window. So it's not the best looking PS4 game, but it actually doesn't look bad, especially when you're on the open seas and you're kind of going in like the aqua blue oceans or the aqua blue seas that are close to these towns. A really fun game with a whole lot going for it. Next up we have got another one, Guns, Gore, and Cannoli. This is another strictly limited game. I believe they only made around 1,500 to 2,500 copies. If you're a fan of Metal Slug, you will love Guns, Gore, and Cannoli. It is fantastic. Next up, we have a limited run game that I have not played yet, and that is Darius Burst Chronicle Savior CS. This one's also available on Steam. I've not played it yet. I'm a fan of shooters, of shmups, and I'm really looking forward to play this one. Next up is a game. I'm not sure when I will be opening this one. I have played it on PC, and that is Griffin Knight Epic. The reason why I have not opened this one yet is because this is a strictly limited game. This one was only made, has about a circulation of 999 copies. Less than 1,000 copies were made for Griffin Knight Epic. But this one is actually a really excellent. It's also on the PlayStation Network. This one's a fantastic shooter. Great shoot 'em up that's got actually it's like a story, a campaign to it. It's very charming. I highly recommend you guys check this one out. If you can't pick up a physical copy, which is super expensive, check it out on PlayStation Network if you're a fan of shoot 'em ups. Next up is Tokyo 42. This one has kind of an interesting look to it. It is an isometric open world shooter. It's got the characters and the areas you have. It's got really cool pixel art. I really enjoyed this one. This is another one that was a strictly limited game. It's a whole lot of fun. Check it out on the PlayStation Network. Next up is Final Fantasy 0 HD. This one is okay. This was also available, was first available on the PSP. Now it's on the PS4 and also the Xbox One. It might even be available on the PC. It's an okay RPG. Next up is Absolver. This is a fighting game I really haven't spent a whole lot of time with, but I'm hoping to play soon. Okay, this one I love. Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. This is such an incredibly fun RPG, action RPG, so much going for it. I played through the game and played some of the side missions, and it took me around 50 hours, I believe. It is so awesome. If you check like GameStop or other places, this is not a super cheap game. And I think, not to say that the game did not sell, I think it sold okay, but so many people who played Ys 8 are like, oh man, I'm not sure if I want to, you know, I don't want to trade in this copy. It's so great. This game is not cheap. Check it out. It's really great. So next up is a first-person shooter, Killzone Shadowfall. It is an awesome, very exciting first-person shooter that you can pick up for dirt cheap. I didn't like it as much as Killzone 3, but I had a whole lot of fun with it, and definitely have to go back and play some more when I get the chance. Okay, Transformers Devastation. This game is super short, but it is awesome. If they only included a few more hours in this game, I would have absolutely loved it, loved it, loved it. Not to say that I didn't love Transformers Devastation. It is a great, 4 to 6 hour ride. You can pick it up on the cheap. It is fantastic. Unfortunately, it wasn't that long. Okay, next up, Diablo 3. Of course, this one's out on tons of different platforms, and it'll be interesting to see when Diablo 4 will get released. Okay, Prey. Of course, there was a Prey game that was on the PS3 and Xbox 360, I think PC, but this one's totally different, the one that was released not too long ago. A sci-fi shooter, which is really, really fantastic, and it's a really great looking game, and it's really fun. Deus Ex Mankind Divided is an excellent action RPG with lots of dialogue, lots of different paths to take. Kind of like, as I was talking with Metal Jesus a while back, is kind of like choose your own adventure. What path do you want to take? How good, how bad do you want to be? It's a fantastic, fantastic RPG. Next up is a game that disappointed a lot of people, but I enjoyed it. The Division, of course, The Division 2 will be coming out in the not too distant future. But when The Division first launched, compared to like when it about a year after, they fixed so many issues with The Division, and I'm not sure how it is now, but they really overhauled it and did a lot of good with The Division. Okay, next up is Dead Alliance. I have not played this one, but I'm hoping to play it very soon and check it out. I don't know a whole lot about it. This is one of my favorite PS4 games, and that is Valkyria Chronicles. The fourth one, of course, just was released not too long ago, but this one has RPG elements, third-person shooting, strategy, a great, really heartfelt story. Check it out. Next up is Yakuza Kiwami. It's basically a remastered version of the first Yakuza game, and it's quite fantastic. It's really, really good. Okay, next up is Uncharted 4. Of course, I have the collector's edition. This is another PS4 exclusive that is super awesome, super amazing. And if you don't have any of the Uncharted games, the PS4, you can play all 4 of them. They're fantastic. Next up is Tales of Zestiria. And this is, if you're a fan of just the fast-paced action in the battles, this has a great, the Tales games have a really fun way of going about the battles that you'll encounter. Lots of story, lots of dialogue. Zestiria isn't the best Tales game. Probably my favorite is Vesperia. Tales of Vesperia is my favorite. I'm really looking forward to picking that one up. This one's not bad. Check it out. Next up, we have the Mega Man Collection. I love the Mega Man games on the NES. Now you can play them all in one package on your PS4. Pretty awesome. Okay, if you're a fan of RPGs, this is definitely a good way to go. Final Fantasy X and X2 HD, of course, this was first, of course, on the PS2. Then it was released on the PS3. Now you can play it on the PS4. It's fantastic. Great. If you're into RPGs, it's a no-brainer. Okay, this one's quite fantastic. Titanfall 2, honestly, it's probably one of the best first-person shooter experiences available on the PS4. And the campaign is quite wonderful and has a whole lot going for it. Really, really good. Okay, here's one I talked about not too long ago. Destiny 2 for the month of September. You can get this one for free if you have PlayStation Plus. It's a great first-person shooter. Next up, we have Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I've also got the Collector's Edition. I love Mirror's Edge on the 360 and PS3. This one is a very fun adventure action game where it's basically, it isn't on rails, but it basically encourages you to use momentum and to keep going, move as quickly as you can. You'll have moments to kind of like gather your thoughts, but I love this type of game. Okay, here's a game that is going to take you a really long time to experience everything, and that is Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. This is another RPG. Dozens and dozens of hours if you want to see everything. A beautiful, beautiful soundtrack. That's one of my favorite things about some of the Elder Scrolls games. A great soundtrack, and as you're exploring and checking out different areas to kind of, I don't know, there's a whole lot of atmosphere to these types of games, and Skyrim's just so excellent. One of the best RPGs on the PS4, Dragon Age Inquisition, where you go out and you go on these quests, these side missions with various characters. There's a lot of great voice acting in this game, and you get to, you know, choose the type of character you want to play with. And for the next time you play, you can choose a totally different character, you know, total different playthrough. Really, really excellent. One of the best games on the PS4 is the PS4 exclusive, Bloodborne. A dark, really dark adventure, lots of action, lots of creepy characters and monsters gunning for you. It's super difficult, but super fun. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Perhaps not the best Metal Gear Solid game, but it's definitely worth checking out, definitely worth your time. Huge open areas and worlds and different ways to take down your foes. Definitely check this one out if you haven't already. Next up is Dragon Quest Heroes. Lots of action, kind of going back with the Umbral Star or Fate Extella. Tons of people, characters coming at you, monsters coming at you. Great character animations and music. I definitely can't recommend this one enough. There's also a sequel that's really, really good. Okay, next up we have The Girl and the Robot, and this is a very short game, but it has a whole lot of charm to it. I've talked about this before. You can pick it up on the cheap. Fun little game. Great survival game. We have Resident Evil 4. It's on lots of different platforms, but it shines really brightly on the PS4 console. Lots of crazy, disturbed characters you'll encounter with, and a really dark atmosphere that you'll play throughout the game. Lots of creepy things. Next up is a great RPG, World of Final Fantasy. This is a really charming RPG, and the characters you will encounter. This is a type of RPG, like I think if people are first getting into RPGs, this is a great one to pick. If you have someone who just got a PS4, they're kind of wanting to dip their foot into the RPG pool, World of Final Fantasy is a great way to go to kind of get them introduced to it. Okay, one of the best RPGs available on the PS4, we have Persona 5. Of course, Persona 4 was a monster hit on the PS2. They had kind of like a version of Persona 4 on the Vita. Persona 5 is a wonderful game with great animations, lots of epic battles, and this is a game that's going to take you a whole lot to play from point A to point B. And so for those of you guys that watched my PS4 collection, I did a while back, years ago. Unfortunately, all those games got burned in the fire, and I'm slowly rebuilding my collection. And just to let you guys know, unfortunately, I do not have Spider-Man or God of War yet. And I know I should totally have those games, and I will be getting those ones really, really soon. Well, guys, there's my PS4 collection. Any games that you think I should get, definitely leave those in the comment section below. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you later.